Hello, welcome to Cosmic Audio, and today we're going to make some microphone soup. Microphone soup. Microphone soup. Microphone soup. I'd like some microphone soup. Yes, microphone soup. Tasty. So what do we mean by microphone soup? Well, we are going to be cooking one of the most famous and biggest selling microphones ever, the revered Shure SM57, famously used by every US president since 1965. There isn't a studio on the planet that hasn't got at least a handful of these. You can use them on drums, you can use them on guitar cabs, you can use them on bass, you can use them for vocals. Fantastic microphone. Now there's a modification you can do to this, which I believe was first suggested by Tape Op magazine, which is a fantastic online digital magazine, which is completely free. So go to the Tape Op website and subscribe to that. It's a really good read. And they say that taking the transformer out makes it sound a bit like the more expensive SM7. So we're going to try it. Now, to get the transformer out, it's glued in, so basically you need to cook the microphone in order to be able to do that. So we're going to show you exactly how that works, and then afterwards we'll do some audio examples. So we're going to record a snare drum with a stock 57 and a snare drum with the modded 57, a guitar amp with both, and we'll do some vocals with both as well. After the previous singing, you'll be pleased to know that I'll just be speaking into it. So to do this, you basically just need a handful of ingredients to make your delicious soup. You obviously need one SM57, you need 2 short pieces of wire, you need a small flat-headed screwdriver, and you need a soldering iron, or if you're one of our American viewers, a soldering iron, although it is actually soldering iron because there's an L in it. And while we're on the subject, this is a squirrel.
It's a marmot.
Okay, technically it's a marmot, but it's of the species squirrel. That's squirrel, not squirrel. So we love you, but squirrel, soldering iron. Thank you. So let's get cracking. Okay, so to get into our SM57, first thing we need to do is unscrew the capsule end. So you just unscrew it like that, and you'll see inside we have a green wire and a yellow wire. Now make a note of where those are, because we'll need to get the polarity right when we wire it back later on. So in our case, the green wire is next to the number 4 on the top there. So let's unsolder those. There we go. Okay, so we're now left with our 2 parts there. So the capsule we'll need later on, so put that somewhere safe. Now the next step is to get the XLR barrel out of the bottom. So again, that's quite easy. There's a little grub screw in there, and you actually need to do it up rather than undo it. What that does is it pushes the screw into the barrel, and then we can pull it out. Okay, so once your XLR barrel's off, put that somewhere safe with the capsule. Don't forget that the pins, that side as well as that side, will be very hot to the touch once you've unsoldered them. So we'll put that with the capsule, and that basically leaves us with our barrel, and you can probably see the glue inside. We'll leave these 2 wires on there because that will make it easier to pull the transformer out once we've melted the glue. So let's start making our soup. We're using a portable camping stove, so we've come outside on a gloriously crisp winter's day because we don't want to give everyone carbon monoxide poisoning. Never use a camping stove inside. Microphone's cooking away nicely. Just gonna add some seasoning to taste. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. Obviously we want to give our microphone some flavour. Okay, so our lovely little microphone's been gently simmering away for 3 minutes on gas mark 7. We're just going to see if it's soft enough to, the glue's soft enough to get the transformer out. Let's have a look. Empty the water out of that end. think that might be, oops, I think that might be a yes. Let's do some tongs, really need some barbecue tongs. Oh, I've pulled the wires off. Damn. Let's get the other pliers. Do 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 do. Yay, we have a transformerless microphone. Okay, let's just get that residue out. Okay, so we're there. So the transformer's out with lots of glue around it. That's dead now, so we can discard that. And we have a lovely toasty warm microphone capsule, glueless, and the thing you need to check when you take the glue out is that you can see through the hole and blow through the hole in the bottom, because that hole will need clear to push the cables through later on. So if there's any glue left inside blocking that, then that needs to come out. But we've got the transformer out, we've got our body, so we're ready to go. Okay, so we've got our component parts. So we've got our glue-free body, and as you can see, I've threaded 2 pieces of wire through the hole, so they're ready to go. They're stripped at the ends and soldered. We've got our XLR barrel to go back on, and we've got our capsule. Now, where we took the capsule off, the green wire came off that one, and that is the positive, and the yellow wire came off the bottom one, which is the negative. So standard XLR wiring is pin 2 on the XLR is positive and pin 3 is the negative. So we want to connect our positive terminal to pin 2 and our negative terminal to pin 3. On some 57s there's also a ground connected between the middle terminal and pin 1, but in our case there wasn't, so we're not going to bother with that one. So now we're just going to solder that pin to pin 2 and that to pin 3. Let's do that. Okay, so we're all wired up and ready to go. So we've got a bit of excess wire there, but that doesn't matter, that can just be pushed back through in. So first job, let's get our XLR back in. So we can line him up, the little grub screw there can line up with the little hole on the front. Let's push him back in. Okay, so our XLR's back on, and now we're just going to give the wires a little twist, pop the excess back in there, screw him up, and there we have it. One transformerless SM57. Okay, so microphone reassembled, and we have a standard stock SM57. So now we're going to do a comparison. Now, one very important thing to note is if you do the modification to an SM57 is that you clearly mark it. And the reason you need to clearly mark it is because one of the very important things that the transformer does is it cancels out any phantom power going into the microphone. Now, of course, that transformer isn't there, so we've got the XLR barrel wired directly to the capsule, and if we applied phantom power to that, the capsule will go poof, and that will be the end of your microphone, and it may even damage the preamp, whichever preamp you're using. So mark very clearly, I've marked this in 2 lots of red tape and put a bit of white tape around the top with no phantom written all the way around it. So you need to remember not to apply phantom power to a modified SM57, otherwise things are going to go bang. So that's quite important. You could use something like a cloud lifter if you wanted to, which will ensure that phantom power doesn't get to the microphone anyway. They're quite commonly used on ribbon microphones. Another thing a cloud lifter will do, it will also give you a bit of extra gain, because the other thing the transformer does is it gives the microphone more output, so you get better feedback rejection for live use. So you wouldn't want to do this modification for live use, you'd only want to try it for recording. There's going to be around about 10 dB less signal coming out of this microphone than there is out of the standard stock microphone. So what we're going to do is we're going to set two mics up, close together as we can, and then we're going to match the gain on both to as near as possible, and then do some recording. So let's hear how they sound first off on a snare drum. So our weapon of choice in the mic preamp department for this shootout is going to be one of my favourite mic preamps for dynamic mics, and that's the Focusrite ISA 428, which is basically four of Focusrite's lovely mic preamps Rupert Neve designed, as found in the legendary studio console. So we're going to be using inputs 1 and 2. As you can see, I've just roughly set the levels, so we've got a bit more gain on channel 2 because that's the channel that we're going to be using the modified 57 on, and channel 1 we're going to be using the stock 57. We're also going to try different impedance settings. Each of these have got 4 different impedance settings. So of course, crucial to check before we plug the microphones in is that on channel 2 the phantom power is off, because if that's on, as I just said, we'll fry the microphone. So we need to make sure that the phantom's off, which it is, so we're ready to plug in and go. James, if you're ready to go, fire at will. Okay, so as promised, some spoken word. I'm not going to sing, you'll be pleased to know. So we've got our modded 57 and our stock 57 still taped together next to each other as close as we can get the capsules. We're going to alternate between the modded mic and the stock mic while I'm talking, so as you can clearly hear the difference. Clearly hear the difference? Is there a huge difference? What do you think? I thought on the snare I preferred the stock 57. I thought there wasn't as big a difference as I was expecting. I actually thought the stock 57 sounded a bit brighter on the snare drum. Now these are completely unprocessed audio files. We haven't done anything to them at all. We haven't, so I can't say how they respond to compression or EQ or anything. I don't think there's a huge difference. I certainly don't think the modded 57 sounds like an SM7 to my ears. I don't think the difference is that great. Is it worth doing? I'm not going to get all our 57s out of the cupboard and start taking the transformers out. If a 57 isn't working in a certain situation, I'd be inclined to try a different microphone and keep trying different microphones until I find one that does work. But it's been an interesting experiment, and it's certainly been good fun boiling a 57, and it's a different flavour of microphone in our arsenal. So see what you think. Leave us some comments below. Please share the video and like it if you can. Try and tell your friends, idiots in a studio in Essex boiling microphones. Share it amongst your friends. But have a listen to the files. Tell us what you think and leave your comments below. Thanks very much, and we'll speak to you again very soon.